What's good, Internet? My name is Attack Slug, and welcome back to my weekly Raw reactions for the week of May 30th. And as always, let me know what you thought of Raw down in the comments below. This is Raw for Memorial Day 2016, so we kick off with the usual, hey, here's our promo, here's some political stuff, America, etc., etc. I did like that there was a guy ringside who had a PBR sucks sign. That was cool. Like, he was kind of, like, on the entrance ramp area, so at least somebody had a PBR sign referencing that whole Cena shirt debacle from this past weekend. So we start the show proper with Shane and Steph coming to the ring, and this was a 15-minute segment that could have been accomplished in 5. The New Day tried desperately to save it and make it entertaining, and man, it just kind of drug on and on. Long story short, hey, brand split. What's gonna happen? We don't know. That's the extent of that whole fucking segment. But we were going to have the amazingness of Stephanie McMahon attempting to dance. She is hilarious every time that she does it. And the vaudevillains doing the true heel thing and depriving us of Stephanie doing her mom dancing, which is always funny. Anyway, that leads into the New Day versus the vaudevillains, and one of my most annoyed tropes in wrestling is, hey, let's have a team or a guy beat the champions to earn their title opportunity. Like, it's just lazy booking, but they do it all the time. Shout out to Cole here, who, when going to commercial, totally called this show SmackDown, and they gave him a bunch of shit for that when they came back from commercial. That was real funny. We're not there yet, Cole. Cole hasn't even been on SmackDown in forever. It's Mauro Ranallo now. Come on. Also, bonus points to JBL for, I want to say, mistakenly working the word glory hole into this whole thing when he was talking about the New Day doing the Unicorn Stampede, stomping a mud hole. But they are mistakenly calling a herd of unicorns a glory, when I'm pretty sure the internet has called it a blessing. It's kind of the generally agreed upon term is a blessing, not a glory. Although there are some very, there are arguments back and forth on what to call this herd of imaginary animals. Anyway, I can only imagine Vince in his headset going, "What the fuck did you just say? God damn it!" So this match ends up with a disqualification and no contest because it was interrupted by the Club. What kind of club? Who just beat the crap out of the New Day, and you would imagine that that's who they're going to feud with next. You would think. You don't know, but you would think. So yeah, there's, no contest there, and people just get beat up. I think that's what happened. Anyway, we go backstage after that whole debacle to Apollo Crews, who is still on Raw for the time being. I get a feeling he's going to end up on SmackDown once that goes live. And then we get the return, which we've been so blessed. Speaking of blessings, we've been so blessed since Mania that we haven't seen Kane and we haven't seen the Big Show. Guess what? Here's the Big Show trying to get motivational with Apollo Crews about fighting Sheamus because Sheamus is a bully. And I can only say, Apollo Crews, do not trust the Big Show for anything. That man has flip-flopped between face and heel so many times. Just watch your back, because he'll probably end up having to fight him at some point. I'm calling it now. Anyway, yeah, apparently no Sheamus because he's out filming, or not filming, he's out promoting the new Turtles movie out in theaters pretty soon. Anyway, our next match of the show is the Usos versus Breezango in a very short match that had the Golden Truth on commentary. The only thing to really mention here is that, hey, I like when they put together a tag team of guys that seems like they should be a tag team with Breezango, and they give them kind of a mashed up theme song. Thumbs up when that works, and a lot of times it doesn't work, but when that works, it is fantastic, and I love it. Anyway, the Usos win. There was a post-match thing with Golden Truth, and again, this is your weekly reminder. This is the longest running feud in this company, the longest running angle. Angle. Golden Truth has been going for like 6 months. Why? I'm assuming because Vince thinks it's hilarious. Speaking of things that are not hilarious and that have been dragged on for fucking ever, Roman Reigns came out to, cut a brief promo and talk about Seth Rollins attacking him. And then Rollins comes out, because he called him out, to confront Roman Reigns, etc., etc. Let me sum up this entire drawn-out segment in 3 simple words. It's fucking nothing. Nothing happened here. Rollins, he's coming into the ring like 15 times and then didn't. And Roman Reigns held the belt up. Like, what magical, to paraphrase Jim Ross, what magical invisible force kept Roman Reigns in the ring and not running out to punch Rollins in the face? This whole thing, like, I understand. This episode of Raw went on against basketball, Game 7. I get it. But man, the amount of just not giving a shit in terms of advancing anything here was just mind-blowing. Anyway, it was nothing. After that, we had the Hatch mystery, which I discussed in my 2K16 video yesterday, and the Hatch was Goldberg, and he's a pre-order bonus for 2K17. I will certainly have many more thoughts as we learn more things about 2K17 in the months to come. And rest assured, I'll be playing that the day it comes out on this channel. So I guess look forward to that. Hopefully it's good. Hopefully it's good. Next match was Zack Ryder versus Rusev. We had, like, kind of classic Lana introducing Rusev with her actual, like, Lana theme song, which is fantastic. And he's had a pretty short match here. And obviously Rusev wins because he's Rusev. And then I'm not sure what is more surprising here, okay? I'm not sure if Titus O'Neil getting an actual storyline feud is more surprising than the fact that the post-match Rusev on the microphone getting interrupted by somebody was not John Cena. Because, I was saying, like, the whole internet has been saying for weeks, alright, put the belt on Rusev from Kalisto, out comes Cena, back, Memorial Day, U.S. title. That makes all of the common sense in the world, and they didn't do it. And that's great. Like, look, I like being surprised, so that's awesome. But Titus O'Neil's your guy, and after everything that happened with him and that suspension, that's what you're going to have him do? Like, really? Okay, sure, fine, why not? So yeah, he just kind of hit him, and that was, the usual wrestling thing. Anyway, after that, we get another vignette. So, the Shining Stars had a month or a month and a half of, hey, Puerto Rico. And then they had a match that nobody cared about. And now they're back to doing vignettes saying, hey, Puerto Rico, tourism. Like, what are they even... That is a SmackDown team if I ever fucking heard. Like, honestly, they should be on Main Event and Superstars. Nobody gives a shit. I'm not sure what they're doing. I'm not sure who they have dirt on to keep having these things go forward on TV every week. Who are they blackmailing? What do they have? So after that, there was a Charlotte and Steph thing backstage. I want to mention that specifically because, like, why? Why even... First of all, why does Steph care? She was giving Flair's, like, Ric Flair shit, so why would she even care on any level? And Steph being Steph, she never gets, like, on a very rare occasion, she almost never gets any kind of, heat on her because there is no winning. She runs the company. Like, I don't understand, like, outside of that mud match with, Vicky, and that one time she got speared at Mania, like, she almost never gets what's coming to her. She's just kind of there. She's the omnipotent force. She never gets her just desserts in any of this, so why should I care about any of this? That's wrestling. You gotta have a resolution at some point, right? Anyway, Moves on to Enzo and Cass versus the Dudleys. This went as you would expect. Enzo and Cass, if Cass can win by himself against the damn Dudleys, obviously having it be a tag team affair, no contest. I don't know if they're actually going to be in any kind of a feud here, or they're going to keep kind of doing the same thing every week. I don't really know. We got a amusing backstage thing with these three guys here, which is Zayn, Cesaro, and Ambrose, kind of saying, "Hey, at least he's not Canadian, but I am Canadian." And that was pretty good. And then the return of the face who runs the place that was conveniently put on during halftime of that basketball game. And here we have John Cena, and he's all like, "America." And then he's all like, "New era has to go through me." Much like when he was doing this stuff with the NXT guys who were all getting called up. They gotta go through me. I'm the face who runs the place, etc., etc. My best days are not behind me. Spoiler, they probably are. Etc., etc. Now, there were two guesses as to what they were going to bring back Cena to do. The first guess was that obviously you would have him get the US belt off of Rusev and do his open challenges again. The second guess was you would put him in Money in the Bank. But, to the surprise of everyone, they did neither. Instead, here comes AJ Styles to say, "Hey, welcome back." And then out comes the club to say, "Hey, we're going to beat you both up." But spoiler, AJ Styles heel turn. And that's fine. Like, I don't mind if he's face or if he's heel or whatever. The dude's still an amazing worker. That's fine. What annoys me is that you just had AJ Styles making Roman Reigns look like $1 million for 2 months and came out on the losing end of that feud. Now, you're going to have him fight Cena for what? A couple of matches, and he might win one, and he'll make Cena look like $1 million. But we've seen what happens here time and time and time again when you get into a big feud with Big Match John. You win a match, and then you lose all the other matches because he's John Cena. Happened with Wyatt, happened with Rusev, happened with Owens. It's just what happens. So, I'm looking forward to the matches, but the feud, not so much. I will say, it was kind of an amazing moment to have just literally John Cena and AJ Styles standing in a ring, and the crowd, whoa, ref bump. The crowd recognized that, and that's great, but man, those dueling chants went on forever. At some point, you start talking, because the crowd will shut up and listen to you, but then, of course, the crowd starts to fucking what chants, and that's garbage. Stop doing the what chants. Nobody cares. Anyway, your next match was Natalya versus Dana Brooke, with Charlotte at ringside, and the match was kind of whatever. Dana Brooke won with a distraction, whatever. And then they kind of beat up on Natalya. Meanwhile, the crowd is chanting, "We want Sasha," and nowhere to be found. Where the fuck is Sasha Banks? I know she had that thing with the ref and the knee to the head and the anyway, Becky Lynch, whatever. That bottom rope is freaking out. Del Rio broke the bottom rope. What the hell is even happening there? What the fuck? Anyway, we had Dolph Ziggler versus Baron Corbin in a technical wrestling match, which they could have just called an amateur wrestling match, because Dolph Ziggler brought out his headgear and his mouth thing like you would do in amateur wrestling. Wasn't wearing the, old school, he wasn't wearing the singlet for it, but, that's the assumption, is that it would have been an amateur wrestling match, which obviously he excels at because, he was an amateur wrestler at Kent State, and Baron Corbin played football, so that makes sense. But then he just kicks Baron Corbin in the balls and gets disqualified, so Baron Corbin wins. He walks away, and that's the end of that segment. And I'm like, that's kind of a heel move. Like, isn't he supposed to be the face in the match? Like, Baron Corbin winning with the low blow at Extreme Rules, it was an Extreme Rules match. That is well within the defined rules of that match. You can't just kick guys in the dick whenever you feel like it. That's not how it works. So that whole thing was stupid. Anyway, we had Maurice introduce The Miz, who was out filming the Marine 5, which is weird because she's also filming the Marine 5. So why did she have a whole separate thing to introduce him for? Anyway, The Miz on very obvious cell phone, face cam thing, and I know that because I do that every day. And when he's moving his hands, they're having the belt, and like I can see the white balance changing, so I know what he has all his settings on auto. That just bugged the fuck out of me. Like, look, just because you're pretending to be, just because you want it to look like you're in a hotel room with a cell phone on set, doesn't mean you actually have to use a cell phone on set. Come on. Anyway, then we get the main event, and that is this match here, which is Owens, Del Rio, and Jericho versus Ambrose, Zayn, and Cesaro. In your match, you're going to have a bunch of different variations of between now and the pay-per-view. My question is, did they officially drop having a 7th guy in this match? Did they ever actually announce that it was going to be 7 and not 6? Because they haven't mentioned a 7th guy in a bit here, and I'm thinking they might have just dropped it and they're only going to have 6. Which is fine, but I think the dynamic of the match is perhaps more interesting when they traditionally have 7. So, match was great. The faces win, because of course they do. And that was Raw. So, let me know what you thought of Raw. I thought they were kind of just spinning their wheels, because they knew they were going up against Game 7, and therefore, that was like the highest rated basketball game on TNT, like, ever. So, obviously, you can kind of just spin your wheels on Raw, and then hopefully make up for it next week. And that'll be me watching next week. So, until then, and until next time, and as always, I am your host, Attack Flick. Thanks for watching. And I will see you next time, and every day for more videos, right here on this channel. And I'm out.